As the movie begins, a man named Charlie is seen opening packages of some engine parts in his warehouse until his wife calls him. He goes to the kitchen to make coffee for his wife Sarah, who is leaving for London for a conference meeting for 5 days. As soon as Sarah leaves, Charlie drives to his office. Charlie is a CIA member, serving as a crypt analyst in the decryption and analysis department. However, as Charlie comes to his office, he communicates with an anonymous person online, maybe on the dark web. But still Charlie guesses his identity as a Russian man living in Istanbul. Without further acknowledgement, as soon as their discussion ends, the anonymous man, Inquinity, shares some encrypted documents. Charlie tries every possible technique to decipher the files, but no luck. After this, Charlie uses the special computer of the agency to brute force the documents, where one method unlocks every document. But highly sophisticated documents are extracted, including some of the shady work of a few directors, including Chief Moore. Charlie then becomes distressed and walks out. Carlos sees him and asks the reason, to which Charlie explains he found a gray area. Carlos suggests that he should stay quiet since the word decided binary here. Charlie takes a day off, and at night, he tries to communicate with Sarah. But when she doesn't pick up the call, he sends her a voicemail. The next day, Charlie sees Chief Moore in his office. He asks if he has today's update from the news, but Charlie doesn't look much at the news, so Moore takes him to the director's office. Director O'Brien, on the 7th floor, meets with Charlie and tells him that there has been a situation at the Christopher Street Hotel in London, the same place where Sarah was. Hearing this news on the TV channel makes Charlie heartbroken and more stressed about Sarah. The next day, Charlie receives the remains of Sarah found at the hotel. When he goes back home, he sees that Sarah had left him a message written in Morse code. Since Charlie loved puzzles, Sarah left him a final gesture, which causes him to cry heavily. Later on, Charlie uses Twitter to find hints about the terror attack and finds clear footage of Sarah being held hostage. Now begins the intermission, when Charlie gathers every single piece of evidence found anywhere and merges them all together to identify the 4 assailants. He presents the whole thing to the directors. He uses the voices from the videos and vocal symptoms to identify the assailants. The characters are Mishka Blažić, Lawrence Elish, and for Sarah's killer, the one who held her, Charlie processes all the acquired data and generates a 3-dimensional image of the scene, through which the identity is revealed as Schiller. While others are still undercover, one of the identities is found. She is Gretchen Frank, in Paris. For Charlie, the case is already solved, since everything is found by himself alone. But Moore says that they want to examine their whole network, so they will do more investigations. Meanwhile, Charlie is sent to Dr. Garrison for psychotherapy. Garrison asks him a few questions and asks him about his feelings. Charlie responds by saying that he exposed every piece of evidence, but the agency is taking no action, which infuriates him. Garrison says that it's about him, and that things will soon get better with time. Charlie goes to his office, prints out the deciphered documents, and hides them in one of his files. The next day, Charlie puts all the files in front of the 2 directors and reveals everything about their shady work and destruction in Syria, Yemen, and Afghanistan. Chief Moore stands up and threatens him, saying that he is interfering in something beyond his pay grade. But Charlie then threatens them back, saying he will publicize all the evidence and demands that the CIA train him for better combat and aid him in every way, as he wants to take on the mission himself, alone. The chiefs have no choice left but to play along, until they find a way to turn the tables. Meanwhile, Charlie reaches the training facility the next day, where he meets Colonel Henderson. One of the 2 chiefs sets up a team to keep an eye on Charlie. They believe whatever Charlie has discovered came from this office, and they need to figure out how he left the building with those pieces of evidence. But Charlie cleverly stripped out the documents through a printer, leaving no trace. On the other side, Charlie practices his gunfire, failing at every attempt, but landing a good shot when standing right in front of the target, a 50-50 chance of hitting something. However, moving on, Charlie creates a small bomb that surprises Henderson. At the same place, Charlie requests to keep the bomb-making manual for later use. Henderson then makes his new identity with a passport as part of the training and public cover. Later that night, Henderson visits Charlie and hands him a gun, but Charlie fails to pull the trigger when prompted because he is not confident. Henderson says that he can't force him into being someone he is not. While all of this is happening, Moore and the rest continue monitoring Charlie, keeping records. But Charlie has a hidden mic and keeps listening to their plans. Sooner or later, the team realizes Charlie was stalling them to buy time. That night, Henderson gets a call to remove Charlie from the program. He goes to Charlie's room but finds he has already escaped. As the news reaches Moore, he becomes distressed, so he checks through the files in Charlie's office, just when he discovers the hidden mic. Meanwhile, Charlie leaves the country and recalls the time when Sarah gifted him a plane on his birthday. Later on, Charlie lands in Paris. He resides next to a bakery shop near where his first target is expected to be. He tracks her live location and pays a visit to her apartment at night. Gretchen has an appointment scheduled. Charlie takes note of it but has to run when Gretchen returns. However, Charlie points his gun to shoot her down, but fails to do it. The next day, Charlie finds out the venue of her appointment and plays it off accordingly. Charlie anxiously waits for her, and when she arrives, he plays his move. First, Charlie disconnects the center's system, and as soon as he finds a way, he goes inside and releases pollen into the chamber, only to ask about Schiller. She refuses to talk and runs out, only to be hit and killed by a speeding car. Charlie runs away from the scene. Later that night, he goes to a small club somewhere in France, where Henderson gets to him. After being chased for a while, Charlie locks himself in the bathroom and finds no way out. Instead, he sits with Henderson, shows the timer of a smoke bomb he planted in the bathroom, and escapes during the distraction. The next day, Charlie lands in Turkey, staying connected with the anonymous person who leads him to a meeting location. Somewhere in Istanbul, Charlie meets with a woman who suspects that the person he's looking for won't meet him like this. She hands him a book and walks away. Later, she hands him a carry bag and asks him to do some shopping, then come to the parking lot. After 30 minutes, they both leave from the parking lot and drive to the woman's home. During their journey, she reveals that her husband was a former CIA member who died a natural death. After that, she remained connected with the CIA, just like how she met Charlie, hoping someday someone would need help. The anonymous woman, Inquilin, shows the three assailants. Charlie explains their roles and plans to bring them down, using their own roles against them. Their next target is Mishka, who Charlie identifies from a single picture. From that image, he spots a reflection of Mishka's girlfriend, which leads him to her social page with their most recent location. Meanwhile, Caleb and his team know that Charlie will be looking out for his next target, so they start tracking them down too, prioritizing Charlie's capture. Meanwhile, Charlie plans to land in Spain, after finding his target at a hotel. He observes Mishka first, and the next day steals a compressor. That night, he uses it to decompress the pool Mishka swims in, then confronts him at the right moment. Charlie asks about Schiller, but Mishka refuses. With no choice left, Charlie presses the button, the glass breaks, and Mishka falls from the 30th floor. Charlie runs away, but once again, Henderson follows him. Inquilin tracks him through CCTVS and leads him to safety. Meanwhile, Caleb, reviewing the hotel footage, notices something in Charlie's ear, revealing that he has a backup team. Their location is traced from Charlie's old message to Inquilin sent from his office. Meanwhile, Charlie and Inquilin share a bed together, as Inquilin insists. But soon enough, their house gets infiltrated. Inquilin activates the self-destruct system and escapes with Charlie through a back door. They escape in her car, but the CIA opens fire and chases them. Inquilin gets shot and killed while driving. Charlie puts her in the passenger seat and escapes alone. After some time, his next target, Lawrence, who trades arms, was already set up and contacted for a trade as a trap by Inquilin. Charlie plans the meeting while using multiple fake identities across different locations to confuse the CIA. Now Lawrence, who arrives at the location given by Charlie for the trade, picks up Charlie's call and learns about the package. As soon as Lawrence opens the box, he triggers a pressure beam set by Charlie that will detonate if the lid is closed. Charlie confronts him and demands to know about Schiller. Lawrence, terrified, reveals that Schiller is on a ship somewhere in Russia. He gives Charlie his phone, which has the numbers of two people, Christoph and Simon, who used to trade with Schiller. Charlie leaves and detonates the bomb anyway, since Lawrence was already on his death list. Charlie then goes to Russia. Somewhere in Primorsky, he visits a dry port and suspects a few people connected to Lawrence's claims. He photographs the boat and returns to a small restaurant. Accidentally, he meets a CIA colleague whose life he saved years ago. Known as the Bear, he advises Charlie to be careful because Russia and its laws are different, and that he doesn't want to rot there. The Bear offers to help Charlie as a return favor. Back at his apartment, Charlie assembles a DIY wristwatch and later finds a record of the boat he saw earlier, Schiller's yacht, Nadezhda. Charlie plays a trick on Christoph the next day, asking about his presence on the boat. Christoph grows suspicious after Charlie returns the next day. Finally, Charlie is kidnapped on the spot. At night, Charlie is brought to Schiller's yacht. Schiller takes his wristwatch and some gadgets, placing them on the dashboard. Schiller is aware of the CIA and knows Charlie is there for revenge. He gives Charlie a chance to shoot him face to face, mocking him for previously killing others from a distance. Charlie doesn't shoot, saying he wanted Schiller to feel what Sarah felt. Suddenly, the yacht's system malfunctions. Charlie reveals that the watch and gadgets Schiller placed on the dashboard were transmitters that allowed his people to hack into the yacht's system. Charlie explains that Schiller basically walked into his own trap. Soon, the CIA surrounds the yacht and arrests Schiller. The next day, Director O'Brien debriefs the press and announces the arrest of Caleb and Moore for their past illegal activities. The movie ends with Charlie finally flying the plane Sarah gifted him, soaring into the sky.